What are some of the other ones people have said?
Oh, God. Chick-fil-A's on the list a couple of times. The Office. The
How dare
Office.
they?
Now, I love those two
Oh,
things. Yeah, I do love those two things. The Office, Chick-fil-A, been on there several times.
I don't trust those people.
It's true. Napkins. Micah Tyler hates napkins, which is the funniest one I think I've ever had.
What does he use? His shirt?
He can't use. He can do. Sure. He eats very cleanly. He said.
I
And
don't believe that.
he can do cloth napkins. He just can't do paper napkins.
Does he
So
just carry around his own cloth napkin all the time, though?
no, when he doesn't have one, he said he uses it very neatly and eats very neatly, and he'll use it, but it's very as little as he can.
That's the
Which
weirdest thing I've
I
ever
thought
heard. I'm
so
gonna talk
too.
to him about that.
Yet he We're today on Behind the Tunes from the Visible Music College Studios here with Tasha Layton. Check her out at tashalayton.com. Tasha, thanks so much for being here today.
Oh, it is my honor. I love doing stuff like this.
Well, awesome. Well, listen, I was doing a little bit of reading up on you before we hopped on today, and I read that you're a South Carolinian by birth. Is that true?
Yes, South Kakalaki, born and raised.
All right. So I did a little research on South Carolina, and I got some fun facts. Let's see how well you know your home state.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
And so now, I was funny as this one. I met a lady last week that had just gone up to Charleston, and she was talking to me all about this thing I'm about to talk to you about, and I'd never heard of it. And then here you are today. I was like, oh, this is the thing, the Angel Oak on is it John's?
Yes.
Yeah, the oldest living
Oh,
thing. Have you
you
seen it?
have to go see it. It's incredible. I mean, it is the largest, oldest oak tree in America, I think. And it's literally it's phenomenal when you go. You have I mean, I've been to the redwoods. It's a completely different experience.
She went on and on about it, and she showed me pictures of it. And I was like, "Well, this is incredible." But now you're confirming that she knows what she's talking about, so I put it
Yes,
on my
it's
list.
very, very cool. And if you get your photo taken in front of it, I mean, you just look tiny compared to the tree. It's crazy how big it is.
So that's the angel. Another thing is, are you familiar of the monkey colony in South Carolina?
No.
All right.
What is
Okay.
that?
Okay. It's this place called Morgan Island. There are 3,000 monkeys that live on this island off the coast of South Carolina.
Where is Morgan Island? Like, I've never even heard of Morgan Island.
Is there a place called like Beaufort or something like that?
Beaufort? Yes.
Buford. I
Yes.
think if I'm remembering right, I'm pulling from memory here. I want to say it's off of the coast, off of Buford there, and
Okay. Well, I had no idea.
you can't. Well,
I
probably
don't,
because you can't go. No, like people
yeah.
can't go there for obvious reasons. But there's 3,000 monkeys on there.
Wow, that's scary. I was in Indonesia one time and there's a monkey forest there in Bali and I walked through and I gotta say, I was super creeped out. Like you just feel all these eyes looking at you. You know they're out there, but they're hiding. And then when one starts coming up, because they love to steal food out of your bag. And so when one starts coming up, then they all, and you realize how outnumbered you are. And it is so creepy.
Well, if you end up on Morgan Island, you took a wrong turn somewhere, and I don't know how many people they've met, and so
I'm
I'd get off that thing pretty quick.
I'm totally Googling that when I get off of this interview.
South Carolina also gave us sweet tea. Thank you, South
Yes.
Carolina.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Although I did live in California for 10 years after growing up in South Carolina, and they did not do a lot of sweet tea. And so I cut mine half and half. You know, if I'm at Chick-fil-A,
Oh,
I'm asking for a half and half, not fully sweet. I can't do it anymore.
that's fair. That's fair. And last but not least, in a town called Bowman, there's some guy built a UFO welcome center. Did you know this?
No.
Yeah, a UFO welcome center is air conditioned just in case for whenever they show up. So this guy is either the funniest guy I've ever met or the craziest guy I've ever met.
Gosh.
Maybe a little bit of both, but yeah.
Is crazy. I did an event in Roswell last year and I had no idea the alien culture there. Even the McDonald's has a big alien out front. I had no idea. And where is that? Bowman?
Bowman? I don't know. I didn't Google where that is, but it's
Alien
somewhere.
Welcome Center. Okay,
Yeah.
well you got me, dude. I had no idea.
Well, listen, we like to dig deep here. And so if you need monkeys or aliens or sweet tea, South Carolina is your place. Again, we're
Good to
here.
know. Good to know.
We're here with Tasha Layton on Behind the Tunes from the Visible Music College Studios. Check her out at tashalayton.com. We're not here to talk about South Carolina. We're here to talk about your story a little bit. Tasha, what got you into music to begin with?
Oh, I mean, my mom says I came out of the womb singing. I've always loved music. I love to sing, but I mean, I grew up in church, in choirs and worship bands and all that. And then when I got into school, I did, the ensembles and choir and all that. And then I was a music major. I actually am a music school dropout. I like to call, which is hilarious with what I do now, but I'm only 3 classes shy of a music major. I never finished. And I switched my major because I was searching during that time period. And then I didn't do anything with music at all for a while, and then picked it up years after I'd moved to California. And so, but it's always been a part of my life.
Was there a point growing up, it's always been a part of your life, you moved to California, where you, if I read right, you got a divinity degree?
Yeah, I got my MDiv from a school out in California, and then I started on my doctorate, but then I got the opportunity to tour. And I thought, you know what, I can always go back to school. I can't always, tour the world on somebody else's dime and
That's right.
experience that. And so I would love to go back and finish at some point, but I have little kids and I'm working full time. So it would be a little much right now, but maybe when
Well,
my kids get a little older.
yeah, that doctor's not going anywhere. It'll be there when you get ready for it. So
Exactly.
you're in California, you're doing things, and you got the opportunity to tour. Well, even growing up in music, loving music, was there a point where you were like, "This is what I want to do"?
Yes and no. I think deep down, I really wanted to do it, and I felt like that was what the tool was in my hand to fulfill what was in my heart. But I also really, I was scared. I didn't feel good enough. I believed some lies about myself, that the enemy, he's the father of lies, scripture says, and he'll get a hook in real early. And so there were some things I didn't believe I could do simply because out of, uh, lies from the enemy. And so I was living through those lenses for a long time. And it wasn't until I was 33, 34 that my husband said, I really think you're fighting against the call of God on your life. And um, I think you're worried about the wrong things and you need to sit down and deal with this with God. And so I did. And I realized I was fighting against it. And uh, then I started writing songs, and it was shortly thereafter that my label approached me for a deal, and it all kind of started. But um, I appreciate doing this later in life. I know it's kind
Mm.
of crazy, especially for a female to be a late bloomer like this in this area. But I had had a successful career before. I had done all kinds of things before. And so I actually really appreciate stepping into this um, as an adult who knows who they are and has lived a little bit of life. It certainly gives me a different perspective on what I'm doing. And I've got experience to not to prevent distraction
Hmm.
of things that, when you're younger, you're just distracted by different things. And so it's been nice. God's timing is always perfect.
Yeah, the age thing is I wake up a little more sore than I did when I was younger, but
For
I
sure.
do get to see life a little differently than I did 15,
For
20 years ago.
sure.
Along the way. Again, we're here with Tasha Layton on Behind the Tunes from the Visible Music College Studios. Learn about her at tashalayton.com. com. Tasha, do you remember the first album or record you bought with your own money?
Hmm. I think I'm pretty sure it was the DC Talk Jesus Freak record, and it wasn't even like a CD, it was a cassette tape
Yeah.
because I grew up in, I'm
Yeah.
really dating myself, but I bought the cassette tape and I wore out two of them. So I had
Oh,
to buy
wow.
a third cassette tape. And then it came out on CD and I bought it on CD. So yeah, I think it was pretty much Jesus Freak record. And then maybe the Supernatural record after that.
Mm. Did you ever see them live at DC
Yes.
Talk?
Yes. I did my first. So I have two concerts that stick out growing up. I had Michael W. Smith was with the Power Team. I don't know if you remember the Power
Oh
Team. They were
gosh,
like,
the break things and like tear things out. Oh,
yes, they were
that's
like the muscle guys. And so I saw Michael W. Smith with the Power Team. And then my first like crazy mosh pit show was the Newsboys opening for DC Talk. And
whoa.
I have to say, I kid you not, I was on the Jesus Freak because my husband plays for Toby. And I was on the Jesus Freak cruise with my husband. I think I was pregnant. I was like, I had a lot of morning sickness on a cruise. It was awful
Mm.
in that way. But Newsboys was on the cruise too. And they had brought back, the old players to do it all together and kind of have this little reunion. And I got to see Newsboys and DC Talk on the cruise, and I lost my ever loving mind. I It took me back to youth group days. I was
Yeah.
like, they started, what is the first song? Shine. I think they
Yep.
started with Shine, make 'em undo what you
Oh
got.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
I looked at my husband and I don't think he knew what to do with me. I was literally losing my mind. It was so fun.
Yeah. Well, I saw the Supernatural tour back in the day, and yeah, it was just
Yeah.
like incredible. Blew my mind, and to this day, just still one of the ones that sticks out in my mind. And we're not gonna make you. We're not gonna make you. But if you're on the spot, could you do the rap from Jesus Freak right this second?
Yes, I could.
All right.
Absolutely.
Another
I
day.
I did that for Way FM. I did the songs from a mug. I did it with Wally from the Wally show. And he I pulled him up from downstairs. He had no idea why I was pulling him up. I was like, "You're gonna do this song with me," and it was so much fun. I've known Toby now for 10 years, and I have secretly always wished that he would call me up to do the song, to do the rap. I'm like, I can't, no one could take that from him. It's like anyone in that audience is there to hear him do it, not me. But I've always wanted him to secretly ask me, "Hey, Tasha, do you want to do the rap?" I'm
You
ready.
know,
I'm
you
ready in
know,
season and out.
you know, Toby, are you listening? You know, Newsboys, Michael Tate always brings somebody up for the rap every
He
time.
does. I
Every
didn't know
time.
that.
We got to get him on the
Okay,
line
that's good to know because he's my
every
bro.
time.
I
Hit him
love
up every time. Every time I've
him.
ever dealt with him at a show, he brings somebody up from the crowd. You just need to just shoot a message.
Oh my gosh. You don't even know how valuable that information
Oh.
is to me right now because my kids call him, well, my kids call him Uncle Tate, but my littlest, she calls him Michael Tate, Michael Tate. She never says Michael and
Yeah.
she never
Yeah.
says Tate. It's always his full name when she's
Yeah.
addressing him. Michael Tate, can you come play tea with me? Can you have tea with me? Michael Tate, do you have any gum?
Well, it's time to call in a favor. That's all I'm telling for you.
That's right.
It's your shot. Let's don't miss it. Well, so you went Jesus Freak, DC Talk back in the day. Well, who were some of your other influences growing up?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I loved Yolanda Adams. I don't know,
Yeah.
she's in, on the gospel side, but I literally was so obsessed with her. I knew every song to every record, and I wore those CDs out. And then honestly, Jennifer Knapp,
Mm.
old school on goatee. her Kansas record, and there
Mhm.
was another one. I mean, I saw her so many times with Bebo Norman on the road.
Yeah.
He opened for her for a long time, and um, man, she played good because I play guitar, and so that
Mhm.
she played guitar so well, and her voice was just so incredible. Who else? I mean, those are two big
That's the
ones.
big ones. Do you
Yeah,
know she just re-released either just
she did.
her new
She
record?
she did. She just re-released it. It's called Kansas 25, and
Yeah.
it's funny that you mentioned that because I literally just listened through it last night, and um, I think you can hear life in the different versions, like
Mm.
that a lot of life has happened in
Yeah.
between that first one. And never mind the fact your voice changes as you get older, but sometimes you can hear a difference. And I think that with Toby too. His Life After Death record was after his son Truett passed. And if
Hmm.
you go listen to the record before that and then listen to Life After Death back to back, it's almost like a different
Mm.
person, and because I think our voice changes as we change, and
Yep.
you grow as a singer, as you grow as a person, your tone evolves as you
Hmm.
shift and heal as a person. And so we're in an interesting situation as singers because our instrument is us. And so I think it has the ability to shift and change so much. Whereas if you're just a player, you have style, but your skill's just getting better. It's not
Mm.
shifting and changing in the same way. And so it's an interesting thing. And watching a singer evolve over the years.
When we don't have, that's a road we could follow for a minute, and we don't have time for that today. But I don't think we talk enough about the change, the how life changes us in all the ways that affects us along the way. And like you said, this brings a different voice in a lot of ways, physically and in every other way, just the same. Again, we're here with Tasha Layton on Behind the Tunes from the Visible Music College studio. Tasha, if you could open up for anybody, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh gosh, I mean, this is totally not realistic, but I
Sure.
would love to open for you too, or
Yeah.
Coldplay, or like, um, yeah. I mean, that would be insane. And I think on the Christian side, I mean, I love Crowder's live show is insane. And I've already been on Hits Deep with him, but any sort of collaboration with him is just amazing. So, I don't think I had seen a live show that was that good and like intriguing on a musical level too. Like when you're watching, it's so rich musically, and the players are insane. What's happening, the arrangements, um it's just so well done, and I had not seen anything like that for a while in our space until I saw their live show, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're so good.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to fire off a message to Michael Tate. We're going to fire one off to Toby. We're going to fire one to you two, Coldplay
Yep.
and David Crowder. And let's just make some magic happen, I think, what I'm hearing.
Yep.
Let's give it a shot. Hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's right. I gotta shoot my shot
That's
here.
right. Again, here with Tasha Layton on Behind the Tunes from the Visible Music College Studios. Tasha, there are a few things like live music. So many great things happen, but there's goofy stuff that happens along the way too. Do you have a most embarrassing on-stage moment that sticks
Oh
out
my
to you?
gosh. Are you ready for this?
I was born ready. I can't wait.
I don't know that you're ready for this. Cue Destiny's Child
Let's
right
go.
now, but okay. I just actually told Jen Johnson this story this weekend, and we had a good laugh about it. But I was leading worship at a church here in Nashville years ago, and I woke up and I had like the worst sore throat ever. And so I made, that natural tea throat coat
Mm-hmm.
I made like a double throat coat. I put 2 bags in there and a lot of honey. And I just like tried to, get myself better before I was going to lead worship. Well, I get to church and we have 2 services and there's no bathroom backstage. You actually have to go out. You have to exit the back door and go around to the lobby to get to the bathroom
Okay.
unless you go through the sanctuary during the service. So like, anyway, sound check. I noticed like, my tummy doesn't feel very good. Like, I don't know, something's going on. And so, like, I am literally running out the back door and running to the lobby to go number 2 in the little girl's room. And I am like, I'm not okay. And so it keep round after round, it just keeps coming. And I was like, I told the other girl on the team, I was like, if I hand you my microphone, this is you. This is yours, girl. You take it because I am not okay. And I don't know that I'm going to make it through these services. And so I barely made it through both services. And at the end of the, church day, you're there for so long when you're on a team. I didn't think I had anything left. It was that situation. I was like, I have just pooped my life away. And I have no idea what just happened. Like maybe it was food poisoning. I have no idea. It wasn't coming out both ends, so I didn't know. So I get home, I make lunch. I was hungry. Everything was good with my tummy at that point. And I throw something away in the trash can. And I look in the trash and I realize I have done this to myself. I did
No.
not grab the throat coat. I
Stop it.
grabbed Smooth Move. It was a laxative tea. And so I had 2 bags of laxative tea steeping like so long. I had left them in the water, And so what's crazy is like I didn't taste the difference because some of the ingredients are the same with throat coat and smooth move, and I had masked it with so much honey. I had no idea that it was not throat coat. So I did it to
You
myself.
sabotaged yourself.
I did. It
Tell
was
the
bad.
tell the truth. That's when you wrote "It's gonna be okay."
Ah, wouldn't that be a good story if that's what it was? Everyone thinks I'm like writing about a heartfelt thing, and it's actually me pooping my life away.
The time you
Yep.
sabotaged yourself. Listen, if you feel free to just begin to make that part of your story. That's on you. Free, free.
The story's changing now.
Again, wrapping up here with Tasha Layton on Behind the Tunes from the Visible Music College Studios. Tasha, I like to end with a little rapid fire. You got your game face on?
I do. I'm ready. I was born ready.
What's your favorite junk food?
Ooh, Cheetos.
Favorite ice
The
cream
hard,
flavor?
the hard kind, not the
Okay,
puffy
no
ones.
puffs, no puffs. All right,
Yeah.
that's fair. Favorite
Okay.
ice
What's the
cream
next?
flavor? Favorite ice cream?
Ooh, S'mores oat milk ice cream. It's a specific brand. It's healthier. It's like oat milk and not dairy.
Can you name one of the seven dwarfs?
Sleepy.
What color is your toothbrush?
Purple.
In the movie about your life, the Tasha Layton story, what actress would play you?
Jennifer Gardner.
In the movie about your life, the Tasha Layton story, what actress would play Katy Perry in it?
Katy Perry.
It's a good one. If you could
Yeah.
be any Marvel character, who would it be?
Catwoman.
Favorite board game?
I don't like cats though,
I
but
hate cats.
yeah,
God, I hate cats.
I just think the outfits are cool. Okay,
That's
what was the
cool.
question?
That's fair. Your favorite board game?
Oh, I really like backgammon. I know it makes
Okay,
me sound old.
fine.
Uh, and Monopoly, but I'm not allowed to play anymore because I get too competitive.
You competitive in general or just Monopoly?
Only when it comes to board games or
Really?
like fun things. In serious matters or like against other people in, life or whatever, I'm not like that. But board games and stuff like that, absolutely.
You
I
have a
will
time.
crush you.
You have a time.
They'll never find the body.
you you have a time machine for one day. Where and when do you go?
Oh, man. Oh, that's a good question. I have been reading in the New Testament lately through Jesus' miracles and his baptism and stuff like that. And I know it might be a cop out for a Christian to talk about Bible times, but man, would I have loved to have been there at Jesus' baptism with that voice from heaven. And oh my gosh, it had to be that. It has to be that.
It's a good one. Favorite cartoon growing up?
I liked Garfield
Mm.
and Teddy Rupskin, or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I think that's how it's
I,
pronounced. I know what you're talking about.
I think it's Rupskin, and I had the doll too
Yep,
with the mechanical mouth.
yep,
And
yep.
if you look at him, I think he looks creepy nowadays. Like
He
we look at
does.
kids stuff, and it's like, man, how did I think that was cool? That actually looks really creepy.
Yeah, it was a weird time. It was a weird time where when we grew up. 80s was a different world.
It was.
Would 12-year-old you think you're cool today?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like standing in the fulfillment of prayers I prayed when I was 12. So
Dig
yeah,
it, dig it. Last but not least, something you hate that everyone else loves.
cottage cheese.
Oh Lord, me too.
Ugh.
The number of these I hate, I'm concerned about when you guys bring them to me. I'm like, I hate that too. I may hate a lot of things.
What are some of the other ones people have said?
Oh, got Chick-fil-A's on the list a couple of times. The Office. The
How dare
Office.
they?
Now I love those two
Oh,
things. Yeah, I do love those two things. The Office, Chick-fil-A have been on there several times.
I don't trust those people.
It's true. Napkins. Micah Tyler hates napkins, which is the funniest one I think I've ever had.
What does he use? His shirt?
He can't use he can do sure he eats very cleanly, he said,
I
and
don't believe that.
he can do cloth napkins. He just can't do paper napkins.
Does he
So
just carry around his own cloth napkin all the time, though?
no, when he doesn't have one, he said he uses it very neatly and eats very neatly, and he'll use it, but it's very as little as he can,
That's the
which
weirdest thing I've
I
ever
thought
heard. I'm
so
gonna talk to
too.
him about that.
Hit him up. She's Tasha Layton here on Behind the Tunes. Tasha, thank you so much for hanging out today. You've been a ton of fun.
Thank you. It's been awesome.
Got it.